don't know how it's going to turn out. My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning and in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put the community first.
Hello and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. How are you? Thanks for joining us tonight. We have a good show. We have a special guest joining us that's going to tell us about her wonderful program that she has, that she works with young people and adults as well. So we would like to introduce her at this time.
Absolutely. Our guest tonight is Miss Pamela Johnson. She's a 2023 City Council District 12 candidate, known for her community activism and being a former president of the school board. She works as executive director and founder of Urban Neighborhood and the East Chester Heights Community Center. She is born and raised in Bronx and educated in the New York City public school system. She received her Bachelor of Science from Pace University, and she's married and a retired MTA bus operator. So welcome our guest today, Miss Pamela Hamilton Johnson. Welcome.
Welcome, Pamela.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Well,
Listen, you are such a busy woman.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, and thank you for taking the time to come on and join us and, talk about your wonderful program that you have, that you work with young people, you work with adults, and, you do a lot for your community and stuff. So I know it's urban neighborhood technology for you. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and, when you started this program and why you decided you want to start such a program?
So I was working for corporate America, and I enjoyed working for corporate America, but it actually just wasn't fulfilling. And I just knew that it was just time for me to give back to the community. My mother actually we were born and raised in a NYCHA development. She was a tenant association president. And it was just in my bones to just want to give back. So after I had gotten my degree, I was married. I had 3 children, and it was a pivotal moment in my life where I was in a job that I liked, but I hated the people. Like it just wasn't making it for me. And I made this choice to while I was there, to do a nonprofit. And I decided, my husband was working for transit, and I decided to just take that leap. I decided not to work anymore, stay at home with my children. And I knew that I was on a mission in a ministry, actually, to start my nonprofit program, which is in the Northeast Bronx. And I know you're going to ask me questions and to lead it. So
just tell us, what is the Urban Neighborhood?
Okay, Urban Neighborhood is a nonprofit organization. It's actually Urban Neighborhood Educational Technology for You. So there is a educational and there's a technology component to it. And what I was realizing because it was started in 1999, that there was going to be a technology gap for those kids of color and adults of color. And so what I wanted to do, because I did training, was to open up a center where they could come and get those resources, where they can learn what an email is, how to use a computer, how to send an email, how to create an email, how to do banking online, how to do Word and resumes online, because they had to be able to be moved into the 21st century. That was really the concept of it. And since my degree is a bachelor's in computer science, that was my focus. And because I had so many things that I wanted to do, I honestly really prayed about it. And the Lord was like, pick one thing and I'll make it all happen. And that's actually really how it all happened.
Wow. I have like 2 questions for you. You
Sure.
mentioned working in corporate, and you transitioned to the community. And it's big for people to understand. It's not about making money in corporate. It's what you have, where your passion is, and where you like to get back to the community. It's all about giving back. And I'm so kudos to that. Right? So another thing is that regarding your program, you mentioned all these different things that you have to offer for Black and brown youth and adults. Is there any way in your program that you have a financial component with helping people deal with their financial stability?
We do. We do have business workshops as well. Matter of fact, we just gave one to Cecilia Cruz High School, to a PAPTA. what we do is we have two components. I do the nonprofit side, even though I have an LLC, run a nonprofit. And then Letitia Stewart we're both from the NAACP. She does the for-profit side. And we have workshops where you can come. They are free. So anything that's in my community center is free. The only thing that is not free is the after-school program, because we have to pay for counselors to be there. But yes, economic empowerment is actually huge, especially with COVID and people staying home and understanding about digital media and making money from social media, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Instagram, they're making money at home, and it's an opportunity for us to take advantage of it and to acknowledge it and to be able to use it so that we can benefit our families.
So Pamela, the young people that come to your center, are they normally the young people who like really need this type of assistance, or are they the type of young people that's already smart and just want to do something extra? Because I know we always the purpose of these types of programs is to reach the young people who are not going in the right direction, so they would be taught something, to prepare themselves for the future.
So it's actually like a mixed range. We have we have students who have IEPs. We've had students who were on the spectrum. We've also had students who were in gifted and talented. So there is a mix, and I do believe there should be a mix and not just specifically one group by itself. What I like to say is that when we get our after school program, I can tell a student when they get support at home academically and when a student does not get it at home, because it does make a difference. And there are other things like poverty that really impact our students in school. So if you have a mother who's working, she's a single mother, she's trying to make it, she may not have the time to do homework. So in the after school program, we do homework help so that when she comes home,
that's great.
We give them dinner.
Absolutely.
All she has to do is put them in bed. But the thing about the after school program, and even though it's the small microcosm, it's really indicative of what the city is like. There is a bottom third of children who are in public education that really need that extra help beyond the school day. Whether it be a Saturday, which we don't offer Saturdays during the school year, whether it be before school or after school. But there's a generation that we must catch, because reading is very instrumental. If you don't read well,
exactly,
then you're not
going to be behind
the math problem.
Exactly.
It is just it's so important to read well, and if we can get children to do that in 3K and pre-K and read well, by the time they get that third grade ELA test, they'll be prepared for it.
Well, Pamela, even though you say read well, which you are absolutely right, but the idea too is just to have the kids reading. They need to get off these tablets and stuff and start reading books. The kids should be reading a book at least once a week, or every other week they should be reading a book. So because this is what helps them learn how to read and how to read well, is because they are constantly reading all the time. You can't read a book here and put it down and don't pick up anything for another month or two, because that's not helping you, and that's not helping the children.
They have to scale back the computers. They have to scale back how much time our children are spending on computers.
I mean, and also too, the quality of the time spent on those computers. I'm a firm believer. Listen, I don't do paper. I can't. I'm not killing trees, and I lose it anyway. When it comes to reading books and writing notes and all that things, I do a lot of that stuff on my tablet. But if you ask, some kids just don't do well with it. You can have reading apps on their tablet as long as the quality of the work that's being done on the device is helping them grow and learn, and also reading and comprehension. Then listen, never buy a book as long as they have books on their tablet. There has to be a specific time. It's like, listen, you can't watch TV. You got to read for whatever the time frame is. Here's the app that you open up, because I mean, books was our generation.
You're right about that, Allison. What I'm saying is It doesn't have to be a book. I'm saying
right, but they have to read.
nowadays do not read enough. That's why they are behind in their work in school, because even if you see them with the tablet, they're not on the tablet reading a book out of the tablet, or like you was talking about the audio earlier, the audio book, they could be even listening to that, it helps them understand the book. This is what I'm saying. You don't see our children reading like they should be reading.
Right, but Lottie, to answer the question as well, yes, we want the kids to read, and sometimes you may have a single family household or just mom is there, but you gotta look and see, does mom have an IEP? Can mom read? Does mom have the time? Run 24 hours in a day. Right. 24 hours in a day. So you have some of these challenges that are within that people haven't quite come to the forefront to the table to admit that they have a problem reading. A lot of adults can't read. They do a lot of picture reading. Right. And they really cannot
and they
read.
Put it together.
Exactly.
Well, see, that's why I brought up the question earlier about the component for the parents. Because when we are trying to get the kids, the young people to do something, that's why I think the parent needs to be involved as well, because that's how you find out, is the parent up to par to help their children with their work, or do we need to work with the parents and doing workshops with them on how to do homework and stuff?
Okay, so how do we,
because even with the modern stuff today, with the changing in the math, now I knew how to do math, but I can't do my granddaughter's math now. I don't know what the teacher talking about.
Hi, my name's Allison. I've been helping your granddaughter with her math.
What kind of graph are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And that's also a component too.
How do we prioritize when we bring adults in these centers that may need job readiness to get a job to continue to support their family, and you're focusing on reading? So it really depends on where the priority lies as well.
But if they come into the center, and I'm sure, like even in Pamela's center, if they come in there and they talking, and you find out they may need some help in getting a job or whatever, there's a lot of referrals. You can refer them to the place that would give them the help. You don't necessarily have to have it at your center, but you should always have resources that you can refer the parent to.
What I'm saying is that when we talk about prioritizing reading, how readiness is a parent to come in and say, I can't read versus I need job training.
I think you could do both, though. Honestly, because if you can't,
you have to stop making excuses for people.
I'm not making excuses. I'm making to see how receptive are parents to really accept the problem that they have of being illiterate.
I mean, that's only individual to a person.
There's a huge amount of parents who are illiterate. Let's just say it is what it is.
Right.
But I will say this: the Department of Education has something called an adult ed program. It is a free program where parents, their resources, you can learn English. You can learn English if Spanish is your second language. I mean, is your primary language. You can get your DED. The thing is, it needs to be fully funded. It used to be like you can have nonprofits who would have GED, or they would have programs for, workforce development programs, but now they're centered, right? So that means if I'm in the South Bronx, I don't know if I have the money or the Metro card to get to where I need to get get these programs. So I think the programs, especially even in the niches, need to
hold that thought, Pamela. We're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come back.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
Man, it's lonely. Like going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
Hi, we're back. We're keeping it real with Shannon. If you just joining us, our special guest is Miss Pamela Hamilton Johnson. She has a urban neighborhood technology program that she was talking about before we went to break. And we also want to say hello to Kathy that just joined us. Pamela, you were saying before we went to break about the adult education centers.
Yeah, so the Department of Education, and it's almost like a best kept secret. I know a lot of people are not aware that the Department of Education has these programs and that they are free. And they're listed on the schools.nyc.gov website, and they have a host of programs you can take, from nursing to learning how to get an email, or learning different programs, and it is free. Please avail yourself to it. There are different schedules and timing of it. I'm not sure if it's in the summertime, but if you have the time to increase your skills and your skill set, please take advantage of these programs.
That you can get by anything. They have most of the classes for about anything that you want to do. You can go and get your GED. You can go learn math. You can go learn a language. There's a lot of things that you can go and do. That's what I was saying about working with the parents, because we have to get them to understand that they are resources and places that you can go and learn how to also deal with your children if there's a problem. If you don't know how to help them with their homework and stuff, you can get assistance to help them. They have tutoring that you can get a tutor for your child or whatever, but you also have to be willing to take the time and reach out and get the information. It's not going to just walk up to your door. You have to also want to do, you have to want to get the help yourself. And we too, if we see a struggling parent or whatever, we have to also tell that parent, whether they want to listen to us or not, look, you can go here and get some help. You can get some assistance here. You can go up to the school. You can speak to the parent coordinator. We have to also tell people when we see that they are having a problem with their children.
But we have to want to reach out too, and not turn a blind eye to it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And I just wanted to add that Dial a Teacher for homework is still in existence. It's still in existence. And if you have an issue, if your child doesn't understand the homework, dial a teacher. They are there. I've actually experienced it. And what is so great is that they speak to the child.
Exactly.
The parent, you can put it on speaker, and you'll hear how to solve the problem.
Exactly.
And of course, there are different educational levels of, for individual parents. Some have not graduated from high school, have graduated from high school and college. There are different academic levels. But but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your academic level is. You want your child to succeed and do well. And a lot of the transition from the day class goes to home in your house and doing homework, and make sure your children do the homework. Your children should never go to school without having homework done.
Exactly.
That's the time to bond with your child as well.
Even if it's not correct, even if it's not right, at least go back that you have finished the homework. Don't show up at school talking about, well, we didn't do anything. We didn't do it. Look, what I'm saying is we have to stop making excuses. That's all I have to say. Even I don't even want to say about the illiterate. Even if you don't understand what the child is learning or whatever, when I say that even the reading, I just use myself as an example. I don't talk about nobody else. I don't talk about myself. Now, I had to raise mine after I met my husband and we separated. I was a single parent then, so I had to raise my daughter. So what I did, I was working. I come home, I'm tired as I don't know what. When I'm cooking, I had her reading. Half the time, I didn't even know what she was reading. I had her reading because I wanted to know that she could read. So sometimes we might not have the time to just sit and be face to face, but you still could be interacting with the child while you doing your other work and stuff. You need to know that your child can read, have them doing reports, you check it. If you don't understand everything, the teacher will correct it for you when you send that. So stop making excuses. We have to stop making excuses for parents and stuff like that. You are responsible for your children.
I also want to put that
graduation to come, then you want to come up and curse everybody at the board out because your child is not graduating.
I mean, I just also want to add to that not everybody is lazy. Some people are just really apprehensive of kind of owning up to the fact that, they have these shortcomings or these inabilities or these struggles. And some of us don't speak with empathy. You know what I mean? When people come looking for help and they don't necessarily know how to word or verbalize what their issues are, we have to be able to sit there and try to help them through explaining what they need. So it's also too that, some people have tried to get the help and weren't greeted with assistance.
But then sometimes you got parents doing the work for the kid.
Which is the most detrimental thing you can do. That is the most detrimental.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Because they now the teacher thinks that they actually know the material and they don't. But I wanted to add, we also have someone, a teacher who is not on staff, but is working in partnership with us. And she's a special education teacher. So if it's identified that this child needs, further help, she will work with the parent and be able to make sure, that they understand what it is to read an IEP. It could be that they have a learning disability.
Right.
So Pamela, I just want to get to the next topic we're going to talk to you about, but I just want to touch on what Allison just said before you started talking about the parent may ask for help and they don't get it. We have to learn that if we ask that person for help and don't get it, there's other people. You go ask somebody else for help. You don't stop at one person. You keep going until you get the help that you need.
Absolutely.
Pamela, we want you to talk about it. Tell us, because we see that you are running for the city council of District 12 in the Bronx. You go, girl.
It's not our district, but we support you anyway.
Exactly. So what made you decide now that you want to run for city council? And as we all say, what you gonna do that the rest of us wasn't doing?
So what made me run for city council was I had an awakening, and I looked at my district. I saw that it was filthy. I saw that the seniors were scared to come home because the rate of crime had gone up. And I decided, even before I ran, that I wanted to be a part of my community. So I became the school board president in this district. I was president of the 4-7 precinct. I was the education chair for the NAACP on National Council of Negro Women. As many things that I could be so I could immerse myself in this community. And so I said, you know what? I want to take this to the next level, and decided that I wanted to run for a city council seat. I'm educated. I participate in my community. I'm aware of what's going on. And then I noticed that the seat that I'm running for, actually this district did not have any women in office. When women take office, they are more likely to advocate for women with children, to bring more resources into the community.
Absolutely.
What the family goes through.
Absolutely.
As leaders in our family.
Yes.
It's just so important that women bring a different perspective to the city council than a man would. And we have, in this seat that I'm running for, there's never been a woman in that seat.
Oh, wow.
Well, you would be
Never
the
first.
In this day and age.
Yes.
So what I would do differently, yes, we talked about programs, but I think there really needs to take a look at the data in our community. In poverty. And I say poverty over and over again because it actually leads to a lot of things like crime, not being academically successful. You may not have you may be in a single family household. Poverty affects a lot. You may not have breakfast for your children even in the morning. They're getting to school late. They've missed school, and we don't know where they are, like where these children. So I'm more of a community advocate than I am a politician. Right? So let me just say this. I do not take outside funds from any developers. I'm not going to give you a turkey for your vote. I want to be able to be your voice in our community. It's a collective. We're together. This is our community. And just because some people participate doesn't mean you ignore everybody else. If they don't run your petitions, it doesn't mean that you're not funding any other programs. For me, I'd like to fund some grassroots programs in our community.
Yes.
struggled, who have never gotten any kind of money, so that we need to do a resource directory as well in this.
Yes.
So I felt that there were certain things that I represent, that I bring to the table, even in reference to businesses. I'm sure in other parts of the city, you'll notice that businesses are going out of business because they can't afford the rent, not just the rent. I'm not sure if you know this, that a lot of the landlords are transferring over the property taxes on top of the rent to business owners, and it's not sustainable. And now our seniors have to go further for the foods that they need.
Absolutely.
We have to go further, and it's just, I just feel that, and I know this is true because I've heard this, there are many people in our community who don't want to vote because they feel disconnected. They don't want to vote because you can call the politician's office and the phone just rings. Nobody calls them back. They get into office and they're not present. I will be present. I will make sure that that phone is answered and you will get a call back, because constituency services is key. It's key.
Absolutely.
So Pamela, we're going to have to go quick. So tell us, tell the people how they can support you, what they need to do, financially, or how you want them to support you, and where would they?
Okay. So what I really, honestly, in the beginning, I need your prayers. Pray for me.
Yes.
Number one, pray for me, because if God does not do this, it cannot be done. I'm a grassroots candidate. I'm not a county candidate, but I am running in this race. And what you can do is, if you know anyone who lives in the Bronx, Council District 12, tell them to vote for Pamela Hamilton Johnson.
Okay.
All right now.
Well, Pamela, you really don't even have to really worry about it, because you have already spoken it into the atmosphere. You will
be the first woman in that
district, and you heard it right here on Keeping It Real with Shannon.
Absolutely.
And if you know who that's on trial now, that's going to court, just been arraigned today, if they can be president, you can become city council. So you don't have anything to worry about. You are on the right track.
Yes.
If you want to do something good for people, he opens the door for you to do something good for people.
Yes.
It's not even a problem. It's not even an issue. You got the prayer. People will be praying.
Yes,
people,
indeed.
please come out and vote. We shouldn't have to tell you to come out to vote. People had to die for us to get to vote. And so you need to think about all the people that went ahead of us that have died and lost their lives, so we now can go and vote.
And have that right.
On June 27th, you make sure you go to the polls and vote for Pamela Hamilton Johnson, who is going to be the first woman councilor in that district.
Absolutely.
And we better get invited to the party too, Pamela.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I just want to briefly tell everybody,
I'm ready.
If you're not doing anything on Saturday, June 17th, come out to the Spring into Health at Bayview Community Center with Lisa McCoy, and have a good time. Bring the kids. You'll have a good time with the kids, and it'll be lots of fun. So keep watching us. Go to Facebook, follow us, go to YouTube, and subscribe to us. You can see us every Saturday at 5:30 on Brick Arts Media, Channel 2, and every Saturday at 2:30 on Manhattan Neighborhood Network at 2:30. Look for the channel in the local distance. So thank you so much for joining us. And look, help out where you can. Help parents where you see they need help, and go to Pamela Center if you need help with anything. So thanks again for joining us. Thank you, Vanessa, Allison, and our director, Miss Karen Nesson. Thank you. And as always, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
Do you like beautiful pictures for your home or your office? Then stop by Space Rock Gallery. They have a large selection of pictures from around the world.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon.